Between the ages of 20 and 30, a man's life is at its most crucial. During this period, you reach adulthood. Some people see this as leaving their hometown, beginning their careers, and going through transformative experiences. Events throughout this period either transform you from a boy into a man or render you a victim of your circumstances for the rest of time. You effectively set yourself up for your 30 seconds and for life if you're sensible enough to make the most of this period. Consider it your obligation as a guy to complete the 7 tasks we'll talk about in a moment before you reach 30, especially if you're in your 20 seconds. Make it your goal to attain goals despite all obstacles, and eliminate any distractions that may cause you to stray from this goal. Keep in mind that everyone recognizes young guys who fulfill their ambitions before turning 30. This does not imply that you should become a professional hustler and go on a killing rampage like Alexander the Great, who seized the kingdom at the age of 18. However, constantly keep your goal in mind. The majority of guys suffer in their 30 seconds because they didn't make the most of this prime time. Let's now talk about the 7 goals you should achieve before turning 30. 1. Recognize your value and your advantages. You will never learn a more important lesson than to stand up for yourself. It could be challenging for you to stand up to the bullies and recognize your worth, and it might not come naturally to you. Why? Simple. Because you were trained to wait before acting since you were little. What transpired when you were made fun of at school? Right now, go tell the instructor about it. When these patterns are repeatedly used, they leave such a deep psychological imprint that you start to depend on other people to keep you safe. One of the worst errors you can make as a guy is this: no one is coming to help you, despite what society may have you believe. The men, women, and kids around you will look to you for protection as you approach your 30 seconds, particularly if you have raised yourself to that level. To speak out for yourself, you must make an effort to step outside of your comfort zone. Start by gaining a knowledge of your values. Each of us has qualities and abilities that set us apart. Our strengths enable us to recognize and address our deficiencies. Knowing your strengths and utilizing them effectively can ensure that you always come out on top. A man's charismatic presence may be his greatest asset. Others may view it as leadership, while others may value good judgment or the capacity to notice minute details. Whatever your assets are, hone them to perfection, and whatever your deficiencies are, address them. 2. Investing. With age, your obligations will grow. That implies that a lot may go wrong. Your vehicle or employment might be lost. You might need to take care of some urgent house repairs. You are less likely to be able to begin saving money if you have more obligations to attend to. But as the phrase goes, it's these duties that define you as a man. Dodge responsibilities and you avoid manhood entirely, we usually preach on our channel. But be ready to assume these obligations. Be ready for when things really start to go south. You can never predict when a loved one will be admitted to the hospital and you'll have to foot the expense. If a crisis arises, create an account for funds that you never touch. Use it just in an emergency and begin saving in your 20 seconds for nicer housing in your 30 seconds. Try to have enough money in the account to cover costs for at least a year. Obviously, this will take some time, but prepare a strategy. Say, for instance, that you agree to depositing 30% of your whole salary into this savings account. Have at least enough money to cover your family's expenses for 3 to 6 months. Not simply having an emergency fund, but also making retirement plans. I'm still young, you may say. However, you will be in a better position later on if you start making retirement plans now. Assume you begin saving at age 25 and contribute $3,000 annually to a tax-deferred retirement account for a period of 10 years. After that, you fully cease saving. Your $30,000 investment will have increased to more than $338,000 by the time you turn 65, assuming a return of 7% annually, despite the fact that you haven't made any payments since you were 35. So, manage your income wisely. Clearly specify how much of your salary will go into retirement or emergency savings in writing. Additionally, set a precise budget for any out-of-pocket expenses you may have for entertainment or dining. 3. Take charge of your calendar. The biggest reasons why males never get things under control by their 30 seconds, as we have covered. Basically, it's because they wasted their 20 seconds. Be an attention master, especially in this day when social media rules the globe. It is an inestimable form of currency. Your time is valuable and shouldn't be thrown away. Plan your day and know exactly when you'll wake up in the morning, just like you would with savings. How many hours you will devote to your side company or venture, how long you'll spend watching television, and when you'll go to bed. You will become more aware of yourself as time goes on. Mark off each assignment one by one. Imagine where you are at 30. If you maintain consistency for 5 to 10 years, you will eventually get to the point where maintaining consistency comes naturally to you. 4. Make mental health a priority. Before you hit 30 years old, start putting your mental health first and quit dwelling on the past. You are merely living in your memories while you held on to the previous behaviors that you now regret. I want you to listen to this quote and fully comprehend what it means. Listen to this when you close your eyes. Today is a gift from God, which is why we call it the present. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. Resentment at oneself for a long time, your progress will be slowed by past errors. Learn from your errors instead than dwelling on your shortcomings. Everyone nearby should likewise take note of this. Let them go, and don't harbor any unforgiveness in your heart. You can only forgive others if you can first forgive yourself. As a young guy, strive to become the kind of man that your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self would both be proud of. 5. Become at ease providing and accepting comments. One of the main causes of people's failure to advance in life, not only men, boils down to a single idea. They personalize things far too much. Today's society has grown so self-obsessed that any counsel or criticism is perceived as a direct attack. Refrain from attempting to emulate them. Use comments and criticism to advance personally and professionally rather than taking it personally. Likewise, avoid being excessively critical while providing comments to others, and attach a feeling of affection to that counsel. You refer to this as showing respect and receiving respect. 6. Acquire delegation skills. You're not the superhero, period. As additional tasks come into your life, delegation is the only way to avoid feeling overwhelmed by them. Consider a business. Does the company's CEO respond to every email and speak with every client? No. Only by delegating their labor does a company avoid collapsing under the weight of all of its obligations. Practice doing the same. Spending time on things you either aren't good at or don't want to do is a waste of time. Delegate effectively so that others can assist in carrying that burden. For instance, if bookkeeping is something you detest, hire a freelancer or someone else to handle it for you. And lastly, build your network and side business. Number 7. Build your network now if you want to be successful. Start honing your networking abilities and don't be shy about making mistakes as you go. Never forget that who you know is more important than what you know. Additionally, networking with other highly valuable people is one of the best strategies to enter new industries.